Everyone, I'm about to introduce to you author Barbara Taylor Sissel, and we're going to be talking about her brand new book out this week called What Lies Below. And I am so excited to be speaking with her because if you have not read this book yet, you do not understand a thriller. If you've read it, then you understand what I went through reading it, which I feel like I aged because it was so good. But anyway, I can't wait to talk to her about it. I'm so happy she said yes. So here is Barbara. Hi everyone, I am so excited because I am speaking with author Barbara Taylor Sissel, and her book is out this week, What Lies Below, and she has the copy. She's going to hold it up so that everybody can see it, and this, look at that cover. It means so much having read this book. And Barbara, I did a little intro before we started talking, and I said, if you have not read this book yet, because there's only a handful of people who have read it yet. I was like, you understand what I was doing late at night, trying to put it down, but then too terrified to keep reading to go to sleep. It was a torment I was going through because it was so good, but then I was like, I'm gonna have bad dreams. I need to put this down. I'm going to have bad dreams.
Thank you.
And you know what? It's just because the tension was building, and you don't know what's gonna happen, and I couldn't imagine what was going to happen. And so it was almost when your brain goes off into the I don't know what's going to happen, where you're like, I'm going to dream about this book. It's going to happen. So anyway.
Yeah. I like having that effect, I guess, on readers. I don't like to really scare people.
Right.
But I like that. I always like it when I get that involved in a book. And
Right.
so I always kind of strive to involve people in the story.
Well, you know
to
what?
That degree.
Yeah, and I don't give spoilers, okay? But we find out very quick in the book that it's about a little girl that disappears. And so whenever, to me, like as a mom, like when that happens,
Exactly.
okay, it doesn't matter, it wasn't like it was scary like Stephen King monsters coming out. Nothing like that's going on. but whenever it involves a child, you know that you're going to hook us, because that is always every mother's fear, is that,
Yeah, me too. It's our worst nightmare that one of our children would go missing. That's really a terrible thing that I think all mothers go through agony about that.
Yeah. I was at a Walmart, and my little girl was like, she's now in her 20s, but she was like 4 or 5, and I lost her like quick, like I turned around to find my other child who was a baby, and then she was gone. And I was, luckily there was a security guard right there, and I said, I can't find my daughter, and bam, Walmart closed. Their walls came down, everything stopped in the store. I mean, they take that seriously. So for anybody out there, and that happens to you, find a security guard, because but those seconds, and it was only, maybe a minute at the most till I found it. That is the longest minute of your life. It just is.
Exactly. Exactly. It happened to me too with my youngest at the beach. And it was almost an hour before we found him, and he was not even 3.
Oh my God.
And I was just a complete basket case, running up and down, and all kinds of people helped us, and when we finally did found him, a lifeguard had him, and he was slugging the lifeguard, put me down. He was mad, because he was off on an adventure. He knew he was fine. He's always been that way.
But that is a scary place right there.
It was scary. And so I think, that those kinds of experiences feed my writing now, that always kind of plays into the plots that I write, that there's some experience I've had or someone else has had that is a true to life anxiety or fear. So it helps me to write what I write.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, this isn't your first thriller. And and I wanted to read last year. I tried so hard to get to read The Truth We Bury, which was last summer, and I just didn't get to it, and then I saw you came out with another one. I was like, wow, you're coming out with them quick.
Yeah, I know.
So I was
Too
just
quick.
shocked. Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my gosh, because I was thinking it was you, and then I looked it up. I'm like, yes, she just came out with another one.
That's
So
her. Barely been a year.
right.
Here she is again.
Here she is. That's right. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. But this book involved, and when I like hesitate to tell too much. Okay, so you just stop me.
Yeah, it's hard.
It
It's
really
hard
is. It's
without
hard to
spoil.
talk about these thrillers, and so I try to stick with what's on Amazon and what you've given permission. The back of the book
Yeah.
or what's on Amazon is like what I try to stick to.
Exactly.
But and the main character's name is Jilly, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how we say it, right? That's
Yes.
like an English spelling, isn't it? I always thought it was English. Anyway,
I think so.
yeah,
I think Jillian is kind of an English
with the
name,
G.
and
Yeah.
Zoe too. I've had people ask me, well, how do you pronounce that? Is it Zoe? And to me, it was always Zoe. But some people think, well, that should be EY. But I don't know. I spelled it the way I spelled it, and to me, it was always Zoe.
Yeah.
Is the little girl.
Right. When I see Jilly with a G, I always think English because I know that that's how they spell Jillian, and then we kind of use the J more. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So okay, so she's the main character, and she has a gift that she dreams that a lot of
Exactly.
times. A lot of times come true. And I think that the journey that you had me with her, not and she is not the one that has the little girl. And I'm gonna read the first line because I want people to understand when you're writing a thriller, I think the first line is always so cool to after you've read it, go back and look at what the author
And
has
read the
done.
first.
Yeah,
That's
because
cool.
you can
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
see
Yeah. That's a good idea.
yeah, because it really sees how you set it up and how brilliant you are. Like, I think that
That
is.
was an accident.
But here's the first line. This is why I said that we can talk about Zoe. Zoe Halstead wouldn't go missing until Thursday, the day after Jilly made her breakfast pancake in the shape of an elephant's head. So what you did right there is you set up, okay, so I know Zoe's going to go missing, the next day, and I know that Jilly is involved, and they're the two, important characters, and it's like you don't really know yet how they're involved, but they have a relationship that they know each other, and so when you get to the end, and then you go back and read that, you're like, oh my gosh, she set that up right there. Right there was because when you're reading it, when you're starting a book, when you open up that first page, you don't know who those characters are. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, or where it's going. So I love to do that as a reader. I love to go back, and I've been doing that
That's cool.
all the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna do that.
yeah. So how did you? Okay, so the story is the story, but how did you get to Jilly having this gift? I mean, was it something you just thought up, or what was your?
I just have been interested in that off and on my whole life. I have been interested in things that I guess a lot of people consider they're, woo woo.
Right.
But there's so much evidence to the contrary there's enough. It's like that old thing where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
And I have read books and looked into it, and just not to say that I have faith in that or believe it's real, but more out of just something more than curiosity, just a kind of abiding interest. And I had come across something prior to writing the book about a gal, Judith Orloff, I think is her name. She's an intuitive, and she dreams all the time and has her dreams come true, according to her.
Wow.
And it was some reference to how when she was a girl, her mother gave her a hard time. Her family gave her a hard time over it. She felt very disenfranchised. I mean, she was estranged from her family over it. She had no peer group particularly. And then she was in a terrible car accident and had a number of experiences and somehow or another got involved with a group that was scientifically investigating the paranormal and precognitive dreaming specifically. And so, reading all of that and thinking about this mother daughter relationship, I mean, what if you had a child who came to you and said, I dreamed this and oh, look, it happened? How are you going to deal with that child? And how is this kid going to grow up if everyone's saying, oh, you're just, this is bizarre, stop doing it, it's not real, you know, please be quiet because no one's going to like you as a result. I mean, just imagine, or I did, I just imagine how hard, how difficult that would be. And over time, becoming involved with Judith Orloff's story, Jilly began to evolve in my brain. And Zoe came to life. That's how my books always start, usually with one main character, and then they bring their situation and the cast of characters with them, and that's how the book began to evolve.
It is,
Was
it is such a in-depth story. You have this, but there's so much more. I just want people to know there is so much more to this. Okay, there's so much more going on, and I thought you did such a great job, which is why you're so hooked into the story, because you brought so many other facets of Jilly into it, and you say it so much better than I do. Jilly. I don't know. You said it so much better. But anyway, your accent makes it sound so much cooler than mine. But it isn't just that easy. And what's interesting, what I thought was interesting is a lot of times these people who are intuitives don't ask for it, don't want it. She doesn't want it.
no,
It's not a gift.
no,
Quote, we say gift, but they don't think it's a gift at all.
no, she didn't. She really wished it would go away.
Yeah. And it interferes with, everything in their life. And, it's,
Mhm.
it's tough. And so I'm trying to figure out ways to talk about this.
Well, without giving away the
Yeah, without
story,
giving
but
away, I
but
just want people.
it is true that it's tough. And I put myself in her situation, that if I had this gift, if you will, and then imagine the people who would hound you. I mean, you'd have the people who would just look at you like you were crazy,
Right,
and you would be an outcast to them. You would be insane in some
right,
people's minds. You would be, in a way, some people could revile you for saying that you had this, you had this ability.
right.
And yet other people would probably be after you to predict the stock market or something. I mean, I just can imagine all the directions you would get pushed and pulled in. So
Yeah, yeah.
all of that got real interesting to me.
Right, and she had to step out of her comfort zone and tell some people. And I thought you did cover that. Like some people were like, "Oh," and then other people were like, "So, like,
Yeah,
you have that,
I want to be your friend.
Right, exactly, exactly." And so, okay, is this your third thriller?
No.
No.
I think, let's see, it's the ninth,
Oh my
actually.
goodness! I wonder where I was getting.
I've had
You know
quite
what?
a journey. It's the ninth one.
I know what
And,
happened is
and
I started writing them down, and then I saw. Now I'm remembering why I only wrote down two was because I saw that I did not have enough lines on my page to write them all down.
that's embarrassing.
No, it's not. It's so awesome because I can tell that you've written. You know what you're doing with these. Okay, that is very,
I
very clear.
hope so. I hope I'm getting somewhere. I hope everyone is better than the last one. That's the thing. That's my thing, is if I can continue to improve, that's what I want to do.
Right. And right now the thrillers are big. And then when I was looking at your books, I was like, you know what? She's been here before. Okay. There's some brand new
Yeah.
debut novelists coming out with thrillers. It's really big. All these women are loving these, but you know what you're doing. You've done these and you've been here. And you're probably one of the
Yeah.
reasons why everybody else is trying to write them, because they've read your books. So that's a compliment, right? I mean, that's like good for
Oh
you.
well, yes, I love that. I love to hear it put that way because when I first started, I had a difficult time breaking in, and what I wrote wasn't popular. And I was told that I was trying to blaze a trail that just wasn't
Right.
really open to being blazed, and no one really cared anything. My books were too serious, too dark. Um, and no one was really interested in that. It was not publishable, and so I basically had to just do it myself. And finally, in 2011, when Amazon offered uh, the the way for authors to do
Like
that, I
Union.
finally just decided if I wanted to break into print, I was just going to have to indie pub and do it myself. And so that's how
That's
my break
awesome.
got started.
That's
That's
awesome.
where it started, was in 2011, but I've been writing a long time even before that, and just I could
Wow.
paper an entire house with rejection. So
And you
yeah,
know
I've
what?
been at this a while.
Yeah, because I was thinking that when I saw your books, I was like, you know what? It is only recently that women are writing thrillers. Thrillers used to be a men's world. Like that's what,
And
yeah.
right.
And so when you say
Yeah.
like people didn't want you to go there, it's because that's where we put like, okay, women write cute little novels and, like
Hmm.
romance novels or whatever you want to call them. And then men
Right.
get to write the crime novels and thrillers. And, so it's just been within the last 2 years that I'm seeing all these women writing these thrillers, and you've probably paved the way for them. So,
Well, that would be wonderful to think that I did. Thank you for saying that because I would love that if I was able to open the door
yeah,
and make it easier for someone behind me.
right.
That'd be fantastic because women have been just put aside. I can remember some advice I got from an agent a long time ago was to write, instead of writing Barbara Taylor Sissel, write BT
So they didn't know
Sissel
you right.
and come at it
Exactly.
from as if I were a man, and then that way maybe I could get in the door. And I tried that. I did try
Wow.
that, and that didn't work either.
But
So,
it's such a shame,
I,
like
I,
you know, that they told you that. I mean, but I'm glad you don't have to do that anymore, Barbara. You've proven
I'm glad.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah, because it's that's demeaning.
Yeah.
It's demeaning to be told that because of your gender, you aren't able. It's demeaning to be labeled in any way, shape, or form, and it's demeaning to be told you cannot do something
Right.
because of any specific thing that you
Right.
happen to be.
Right.
I don't care if it's the color of your skin or your gender or what it is.
Right.
That's not the point. If you can write a good story
Then
and people like to read your stories, then hey, let's go, because that's what I love to do is share my stuff. That's why I write, is to share it.
well, I loved it. I was so happy that you said yes and that I could read it ahead of time. I was so thrilled
Well,
because
I'm thrilled to be here.
it's like,
Thrilled to
yeah,
be here and be able to talk about this.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get this out when this book is coming out, and I just want everybody like to see this cover because the cover doesn't mean any. I'm not going to explain the cover, but I just want you to show the cover one more time because it is Lake
Okay,
Lake Union is really stepping up their covers. Okay, and I am.
they are.
Have you noted? I mean, really, their covers
Yeah.
are so much. They're one of my favorite now. Like, and it doesn't mean much when you look at this right now, but I'm just showing everybody because when you read this book, you will understand. So
Or the meaning of the blue
of
ribbon
the blue ribbon,
through the tree branches. This is my favorite cover that they've done.
and
This one is the best of the. This is my third book with Lake
with
Union,
Lake Union,
and
yeah.
this is my favorite cover.
I'm just
So
loving.
yeah, they nailed it on
Yeah.
this.
I've just noticed like within the last year that their covers are getting so much more artistic and creative, and
Yeah.
and that you can't appreciate. I mean, for some reason they hold on to that thing that once you read it in the book you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing." But people can't even see on there the colors of those blues and everything, but when they see it, they'll
So
see like that color.
serious.
Yeah, it's so I
Yeah.
loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, anyway,
I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah, because I know when I saw it, I just went, wow.
yeah.
Just wow.
Yeah.
Because the other two covers, I liked them okay, but this one
Yeah.
really bowled me over.
Yeah.
It really did.
I know, and I keep trying to, every time I see a Lake Union cover that I love, I keep telling them how awesome it is, because then they get it, they
Oh, good.
understand. Yeah, because they understand that readers really care. We really care about it. It's
Yes.
not, when you
Yeah.
say don't judge
Yeah.
the book, but we want beautiful cover as readers. We want them. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
and a picture's worth 1,000 words.
right.
A picture can sell a book. It
Yes.
can. How many times do you walk into a bookstore and you
Yep.
take a look around and you just walk straight for an image, something you see on a table?
Yep.
It's that image that will pull you over there to pick up that book.
Yep.
And you already want to buy it.
Yep.
You already want it.
So
And
many times.
so
Yep.
then if the verbiage on the back
Is
and the
great.
first few lines
Yep.
grab that, you've sold the book right
Yep.
there.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's important.
It's
It is important, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just keep complimenting them, hoping they hear us, because
That's a great thing to do. I'm glad you are because they pay attention. I know
they
they
do.
do. They
They
pay
do.
attention.
They do. I've met some
Probably a
great.
lot more to readers than they do to us authors, actually.
Well, they're very kind people. I love them. So anyway,
Yeah.
tell us. Okay, so these two books came out really, really quick. What are you working on right now?
I am just surrounding the curve and finishing number 10, tentatively titled Tell No One. And it'll be out sometime in 2019, probably late spring like now, like June, July, or maybe early summer. I'm not sure. They haven't told me yet. And part of it, they wanted this to be done by the middle of April, but there was just no way with What Lies Below coming out
Yeah.
the 15th of May. I just needed a little more time. So I am just right now finishing up the manuscript, and I'll hand it off to my editor, and then we'll begin the editing process, which will last several months. And we'll get cover art, and I'll be back again, probably in a short time.
That's right. Well, you know where to find me, because I will read it again. We can talk again, and I would
Yes,
love to
love to.
read it and get another video out for it. I'd be thrilled. So you know where to find me, Barbara, when that's ready.
Yes, I do. We found each other, so we'll
We
just keep
did.
in touch.
We
It'll be
did.
great.
Yes. So I am so happy we got to talk. Thank you so much. And everybody, it is coming out this week. The link will be below to Amazon. All you got to do is hit on there, and it'll take you right to the book, and you can just buy it one click. It's so easy. It's so easy on Amazon.
And thank you so much, everybody who does it. Thank you to my readers. I would love to hear from you. So keep in touch,
Yes.
all of you.
Yes, all your social links will be listed underneath there, so they can find
Yes.
you on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere you are. And you are just
And
beautiful.
we have giveaways. There are giveaways through social network all the time. So and on Goodreads.
Yes.
Too. So look for me there, and I'm always available and love to hear from everybody.
Awesome. Well, you're just lovely. Thank you so much, Barbara. And thank you for making this happen
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Okay, we will talk soon.
All right.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day. Bye-bye. I'm back. Wasn't she so cute? Oh my goodness. And she has written so many books. I realized, like, after I got done talking to her, I was right. I started writing her books down and realized I didn't have enough lines. So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm just going to have to talk to her. She has written so many thrillers. She is amazing at it. Guys, if you are loving thrillers, go get this book. You will not be sorry. All of her links are listed underneath here, and I'm just so grateful that I got to talk to her. So thank you, Barbara, and thank you for watching, everyone.